begin.
Hello, I'm Michaela. Our group discussion is corruption on Tribal Lands.
Name?
I am Marissa.
My name is Joelle.
My name is Randy Thunder. And it's Dustin Delore.
My name is Mark Fassett Jr.
Our topic is corruption on tribal lands. How much corruption is on tribal lands?
My definitions are corruption, the act of corrupting or state of being corrupt, guilty of dishonest practices as bribery, lacking integrity, / corruption.
So my article that I found for corruption on tribal lands is where oil corruption embodies surface, which is on our tribe, from my tribe, the MNJ Nation tribe. When the MNJ Nation first got, when they discovered we had oil on the land, the chairman at the tribe, or at the time, pretty much just saw it as a way to, as he said, what did he say, barrels by the, hold on, I have right here. Oh, yeah.
You can read the summary.
Okay, yeah. According to the New York Times article, where oil corruption embodies surface, Tribal Chairman Tex G. Hall took the opportunity to corrupt the peoples of the MNJ Nation for their monies. Hall, being raised in a household told to uphold your people and make a difference in the community, gives a prime example of climbing to the top and taking from the peoples, literally. Serving 2 consecutive 4-year terms as tribal chairman and twice elected president of the National Congress of American Indians. Chairman gave him the entitlement to take what he wants and give nothing back to the peoples he promised to take care of them as tribal chairman. The chairman who promised to work for the tribe was caught up in a scheme that led to his eventual downfall. Hall used his power to better himself and thought he was untouchable. The story quickly unfolded as he was using his power for personal gain through the oil boom and his own business. What looked like a promising partnership soon led to deception, a failed partnership, and death. A lot of death. People went missing. It's a whole thing. I was trying to summarize it to make it all. Through an investigation, Hall was removed from his involvement in a murder for hire case that shook our sovereign nation of the MNJ peoples. Chairman Hall ultimately thought he climbed to the top and thought he was untouchable. It goes to show that no one can hide from what they do. Chairman Hall was resoundingly defeated as chairman on primary day, election day. The new chairman right now that we have, Chairman Fox, ran on platforms emphasizing good governance and greater oversight in the oil industry.
Thank you. What was the name of your title?
Where oil, corruption embodies surface.
Okay, next.
According to Michael Green in the article, Allotment and Revitalization, in the late 1800s, a group of people called reformers granted themselves control over the federal Indian policy. While under the impression they were humanitarians, their main focus was coming up with a method to get Indians to conform to their own cultural values and Angelino Americans. They decided to move forward with this mission by breaking apart their communities, stripping them of their land, basically seizing their ownership, and sabotaging their tribal government. These reformers weren't the first to try and disrupt Indian country. Other parties have been trying for years to set change among Indians, presenting non-Indian ways of life, such as languages, farming methods, and alternative tools. Their attempts fell short because Indians still had their identity. During Thomas Jefferson's presidency, Indian policymakers kept the argument about keeping a sense of civilization by giving each Creek Indian a plot of land, but the solution was rejected by many Creek. Their resistance had a good amount of strength to stop reformers' attempts at cultural change. a senator that went by the name of Henry L. Dawes, endorsed a bill to split up land into small pieces or allotments, giving limited land to some members of the tribes. Dawes' bill limited tribal government and opened up a large portion of land for white settlers. In 1887, the General Allotment Act was passed legislation by Congress, which was believed to be the answer to the Indian problem. The act wasn't exactly enforced, and the tribes in Indian Territory were free. Congress and reformers didn't foresee the tribes fleeing allotment that was imposed on them.
Good. Next.
Let's see. On the reservation, I have witnessed corruption firsthand, and I feel there needs to be a change. According to $20 bribes in the news magazine, Candace McLean states that Irvin McIver lost his bid for a council seat on the Sandy Bay Reservation in 2002. He hopes to appeal the election on grounds of corruption. With seven affidavits from individuals claiming they were paid to vote for the opponents. McIver said there was a lot of bribery during the campaign and that 20 people were asking him for money. There were 3 other people who were bribed $20 to vote for them, and one bribed with a case of beer. In the article, it talks about $400,000 being federally funded, but no new houses were being built, and how badly they needed homes for their people, as a lot of them were crammed into single homes. There was a deficit of $10 million, and now the reservation is now under federally imposed third-party management. 4 homes were burned down deliberately as a form of protest. McIver talks about how him and his wife learned through struggling and learned to budget through this. McIver talks about a plan to cut the top 20 salaries in half, including the chiefs and the councilors, to put that towards the deficit. In order to change the community, they'll have to clean house first.
Good. Thank you.
According to the article, Minnesota Case Tests Who Police's Indian Game by Christina Helmick, there are many problems with the reservation and its government. The main problem is corruption within the tribal government. As reported by Christina Helmick, Daryl Medina will be facing federal charges for stealing money from the Shooting Star Casino, which has made $125 million in gambling revenue in a year. He has been taking money from the profit of the casino when it was being built. The White Earth Tribal Council has been keeping the profits a secret because the tribal members did not see the money, as they are not on the council. There were suspicions from the grand jury due to how much money was made from the casino being built, so they handed out indictments on a few of the leaders. Daryl Medina was also suspected of taking money from the land deal and from the money that was being given by the federal government. Daryl was later proved he stole over $420,000 in tribal money. It was for him. It wasn't being caught because the tribal members were not able to see it, so it was easy for him to slowly steal money. If it wasn't for the suspicions of the grand jury and the indictment of those members, they would have never found out how big of a corruption in the tribe that was going on.
Thank you.
According to Indian Country Today by David Milner and Karen L. Testerman, on January 20, 2000, a group of nearly 40 Oglala Dakota tribal members took over the tribal offices on January 16, 2000, and would not let any of the office workers in because they wouldn't put up with the mismanagement of revenue or corrupt leadership of their corrupt leadership. The Tribal Treasury Office Management Committee manages approximately $44 million per year provided by the federal government. Money is being taken from the programs and that hurts people. The grassroots members are being hurt, says Dale Looks Twice, one of the takeover leaders. It's been talked about, but the president of the tribe, Harold D. Salloway, might have aligned with the takeover group, but both groups denied it. The council had an agenda, and on it was the impeachment of President Salloway at the end of January. The council members said that they had enough votes to remove him. Mark Vukovic, FBI supervisor of Western South Dakota, said the Bureau would not get involved in internal tribal matters or political, but if hard evidence was provided that could constitute as a federal crime, then an investigation would take place. Shortly after, workers who had hard evidence but who were scared of retaliation talked to the FBI. The tribal treasurer, Jacob, almost got suspended by Salloway for the second time in 3 months, but did not due to improper indocumentation. He still gave a testimony about his evidence and how there was a moratorium of indirect costs going to an account called the Circle Project since 1999. Elaine Janice was one of the organizers for the takeover, said work was underway to save the Circle projects or acquire funds from other sources and funds for other programs like alcohol and drug treatment, the Boys and Girls Club, and Child Court. They're all under the Circle project for funding, but the funds have halted. The important message of this is to stand together when there is injustice in the community. Even if not everyone is together, it's to bring light to the unjust.
Good, thank you.
Corruption can be anywhere in tribal communities. According to Michael Crowley in the article Tribal Council, an incident took place at the Louisiana Cusada tribe. The Cusada Grand Casino was once bringing in $300 million a year, bringing these great benefits. These brought great benefits to the people like housing, healthcare, and education. But the $300 million profits became a political influence and corruption became. Jack Abramoff and Michael Scannion really took advantage of this, charging the tribe tens of millions of dollars to secure political favors. They used sneaky tactics like sending tribal donations to front groups and leveraging connections with the Interior Department, which oversees the casino's approvals. They basically manipulated government decisions to benefit themselves and their side. Corruption even extended to the tribe members themselves. Money sparked internal power struggles and even assassination plots. All the funds that were intended for healthcare, housing, and education started to be used to pay lobbyists. While the casino made most of its profits from the losses of low-income gamblers, this article really talks about how tribal gaming was supposed to promote sovereignty and self-sufficiency, but rather became an entangled system of greed, political manipulating not only this tribe but all over the new country. The important message is casinos have the potential to make money, but the profits often lead to political corruption and abuse of power.
Okay, good. We heard from Michaela about MHA, oil, the downfall of a particular leader, and then Dean talked to us about the $40 million FBI involvement of when 40 people took over the offices. Dustin mentioned reformers and cultural values and plots of land and the laws that were being passed and the resistance that's happened. Marissa talked about a Minnesota problem and that federal charges, again, were being brought forward. Mark talked about Louisiana tribe, money, land, benefits lost, political favors, paying lobbyists. And Joelle talked about, she mentioned firsthand experience with it, and then this lost election story. So as you people in the audience should have taken notes, I had that brain fart as I was doing my own notes. I thought, oh, they should be writing notes too. No, I just wanted you to listen. But did anyone in the audience hear a solution? Because they had solutions mentioned because I wrote a list of them. But did anybody in here hear a solution from all the troubles with corruption? Well, Dustin said resistance. Is that a solution? You can resist. You can put your middle finger up. I don't know who to, but I mean, when I get upset, I'm thinking, don't put the middle finger up, Jane. Don't put but I'm thinking resist. How about through reporting and writing? Can we get solutions? How about groups and public speaking? Yeah, get good at groups, run for office. How about through elections? Michaela, political elections can help. It's an answer, it's a solution, okay? Impeachments, if somebody's crooked and everybody knows it. Write names down, get an impeachment process started, okay? All right, so you did mention solutions, even though you didn't mean to. I heard them. So we've got criteria, we talked about measuring the article to article, we talked about what would be the best solution? Just to get rid of the crooks? Call in the feds? Takes a long time when you work with feds. Takes a long time. Yeah.
I see is how, like council, when you have your tribal chairman, I feel like when the tribal come together, I feel like they should make better code of ethics for said tribal chairman, so that way things like that don't happen. For instance, like on the MHA Nation, when it did come into the oil boom and, you know, everything, you know, they found out we had oil, that's when he just took money, you know, and at that time, they didn't have a code of ethics for, so he just basically did what he wanted. And
Okay.
I feel like that's just, you know,
Yep.
and then
And that's
where,
ever evolving, the code
Yeah.
of ethics.
and then that's where the people come together, you know, and that's where we can actually, you know, actually say, hey, as one.
Good. Any other questions from the audience?